Hey, welcome everybody to When God Speaks. We're coming back from a small hiatus. No worries because it's life, right? And if you cannot basically uh, just be happy for hiatuses in your life, you're going at this life wrong. Sometimes we need to pause. And I'm going to tell you right now, the smile and joy you see in my co-host face has brought so much joy to me. Madelaine, thank you for being with us. Welcome back. We're so happy to have you, and we're going to be talking about humility today, but I'm going to let you speak a little.
Well, Enrique, thank you. And thank you for your patience while I was navigating my move or moves, I should say. It was quite a journey on its own because I just followed guidance and I didn't know where it's going to take me. And it had me, um, at times, it gripped me in fear because I couldn't see the outcome of this. It was overwhelmingly big for me to do, and it was everything that I never thought I would do. I never thought I would leave my son behind 1,800 kilometers behind me in another place. I never thought I would move away. I never thought I would move in with my mom. Um, it is just a strange journey. My whole year last year was a very strange journey. I had the most amazing opportunities in business to speak worldwide about conscious leadership and training entrepreneurs in Africa and everywhere. And I got the most prestigious award from the Human Rights Commission. I've been awarded one of the top 500 influencers in the world for Brains magazine, but yet I didn't earn any money. I had to live on debt. It
What?
was the strangest year. And I could do what I wanted. I could send CVs in, I could ask for jobs. And it was like I am invisible when it came to jobs, but when it
Right.
came to rewards, I was like right in the front row, first there. And I didn't put myself there. All of those were approaches to me
Right.
to come and
Right.
join,
Hmm.
one to award me, and so on and so on. It's a very strange journey. And then this came up. And when my sister phoned and said she's a bit concerned, and again and again and again. And it was quite clear when her and I spoke now, when we literally saw each other for the first time in many years. What I heard and what she said was two things. But I know what I heard, and she knows what she said, and they were different. But doesn't matter what they were, the outcome would have been the same.
Right.
So I made a decision on what I heard. And obviously, there was a higher voice speaking to me. So I had a family meeting and I said to my son, listen, this is what I think we should do. And this is blah, blah, blah. And my son said he understands. And the process started. And I promise you, Enrique, it just fell into place. By God's grace, it fell into place. My son found the place that he really wanted in Cape Town. He wanted a little house with a little garden for his dog. And I didn't realize that he felt so cooped up and he needed space outside also to be in a garden and in nature. And he found that. And then I had to move my goods, my furniture. We shared our furniture, and the little bit that I kept for myself, I had to move to Durban, which is quite far. And it came after I left, because I left the second day after Christmas, because that's the most quiet day on the road. And I'm woman on my own with my dog and traveling for 2 days to get to Durban. Got to Durban and I was so full of fear and doubt, and I had no idea where I'm going, what I'm doing. I just didn't know. And my mom and sister found me the most amazing place to stay in the forest. I'm sitting here surrounded by trees, by the forest, birds speaking. And it's speaking to my soul, because that's what I kept on saying in Cape Town. I need the bush. For 2 years, I said it every day without putting any how can I say, value to it. It was just
Right.
probably my soul speaking. I need the bush. I need the bush. And there they found a place on stilts in the bush and in the retirement village where my mom stayed. So we just moved a couple of homes down in a bigger home, and we in this beautiful place. And it's just falling into place. And I cannot tell you where I'm going, what I'm going to do, what's happening. But what I do know is that my soul is singing. I'm very happy. And I just know I'm on a journey and I'm letting it unfold for the probably the first time in my life. I'm out of the feeling of I want to control everything. I don't. And I'm just in my flow. So when I teach now, be in your flow, I know exactly what it means because finally I found my flow and I'm in my flow. So I don't know where I'm going to end up, but anyway, that's my journey. So thank you for being patient. Thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for continuing in my absence when I couldn't connect and I tried to connect and I couldn't connect and I had no Wi-Fi. It was, and I just, even that didn't frustrate me. Even that, I was fine with it. It's, oh, okay, I couldn't connect. There's nothing I can do. So I
Yeah.
just leave it. Where before I would be so frustrated and tried everything. It's just a different journey. So I'm very happy to be back and I'm very happy to be with you.
Well, I tell you, I'm loving hearing you say all that. We uh, it boils down to the fact that you decided to go with what you heard. Right? And this show is when God speaks, right? So out of all the people, right, you would think me and you would listen when God speaks. So so for all those listening, look, there's nothing that replaces the voice that tells you, what you need to do. Albeit, I will caveat it with make sure it's the right voice, right? Because there's a lot of voices in our head sometimes. But in your spirit, in your heart when God speaks and when there's something else speaking. But it reminds me of the story in the Garden of Eden. You know, uh, and I'm not going to try to diverge it, but it reminds me of when God speaks. So Eve takes the fruit and she eats it. Did did everything go chaotic? No,
No.
right? Because God didn't speak to her; He spoke to Adam. But when Adam
Yes.
took it, now when Adam took it, all hell broke loose, right? So when God talks to you, it doesn't matter what other people do, other people say. You have to be fixed on what God is telling you and go with that. You know, we was talking before, right? Because our journey has been similar. And for all of you listening, and you may be an entrepreneur or you may be in business and things are not going right. Hey, that's par for the course, right? That's how it goes sometimes. And sometimes, kind of like similar to Madelaine and I, you will spend a whole year and see nothing. Now, some people say that's a failure. I will tell you what that is. If you don't see that as an investment in your future, you're missing the point. During that time, if you're not growing, you're missing the point because some of
Mm.
those respite periods in our life, some of those times where there's nothing, it seems like you're not going anywhere. That's when God is saying, hey, that's your Sabbath. That's your time to just chill, learn, listen, get right, do whatever you need to do so that when I do bring you something, you can be ready. And so I was sharing with you, Madelaine, the last couple of days, right? Because you and I, we share the same story during the year. We've been active in what we've been doing all that we can, yet it has not amounted in any monetary gain. But guess what? In terms of being noticed, we have gained. So on Monday, I get a message in through an email uh, that I was on a list, and I'm like, on a list? Okay, well, let me go see what this list is about. I hope it ain't one of those you owe me lists. but I looked at the list, and it was the top 200 thought leaders to follow in 2021. Now, we just started 2021. It's not like, oh, these were the thought leaders of 2020. No, this list is letting people know that these individuals, to their, to their, I guess, a recommendation, would be the folks that you need to connect with in 2021 and start following. So I was like, wow. And then I was number 76. I thought I was 200. I thought I just made the list. But then I looked and I said, oh, I am inside the 100. Wow. So, humility, which is what we're going to talk about today, it has a huge play on what we do day to day.
Mm.
And if you don't treat life in a humble, contrite way, and you get in line, you mentioned the flow, right, Madelaine? If you don't get in line with what makes you just flourish, right? Because we could be doing all kinds of things, we can be active in all kinds of ways. It does not mean growth. It does
Mm.
not mean that you're producing. It does not mean anything other than you're active. And sometimes all the activity goes to nothing. But when you incorporate humility in your activity and humility in your life, you will see things come out of nowhere. But let me tell you, it's not out of nowhere.
Mm.
Somewhere along the line, you deposited a seed
Mm.
because of how you are, because of what you said, because of how you treated somebody. And those seeds, you can be sure they're going to grow. Now, if you're out there throwing seeds of discord and discontent and all that stuff, you can be sure that's going to come back to bite you too. But guess what? When you live a life of humility, when you live a life of peace, love, generosity, always providing value and adding value to somebody else's life, that comes back to you. You
Mm.
won't ever expect when it comes. Now, here's this list. We just started 2021. We're not even done the first month. And now this organization has put my name out there. What happens on Wednesday? Now, that's Tuesday now. What happens on Wednesday? I get approached by a gentleman that I'm connected to on LinkedIn. And he says, would you consider joining us on a first ever event? And I'm like, wow, okay. Well, here coming up soon, there is going to be a first ever online coaches uh, event, right? And I put that. Let me, and I'm going to put it up here. It's an online coaching congress. The first time ever that they've done this, and it has over 30 coaches from around the world.
Oh.
Still, right? You and I, man, still, we're not seeing a anything in monetary gain. But this life is not about monetary gain. Uh, there's a verse that I love: "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all these things." It didn't say your house. It said all these things shall be added unto you. Listen to that word. Listen to that voice. When he speaks, do it, because what you don't know is that that is your investment in the future he has for you. And so I wanted to share that because this last year has not only been tough, in terms of money and the prosperity on the financial side, but it's been tough to let go and let God. And so that's what we're telling you today. It works. It's not a work thing. It it is the way to go. That is the way to do it. You have to let go. You have to listen to that voice, and you just gotta follow.
I think the most difficult part for me, even though I am highly spiritual and in tune and listen, the most difficult part was still to surrender, is to let go and not to, how can I say, be in control of what's coming, but to know and to have faith that what's coming is already in your vortex. It's
Right.
already being placed there. You don't need to worry about it. But when you let go, you're actually getting out of your own way. I remember when I was in the middle of this move and it became overwhelmingly stressful. And there was a lot going on between moving my son, getting his stuff over, and we were working every single day at his new house, getting that ready, while dividing our furniture, sorting my move out, and speaking to my mum and my sister, trying to find a house in Durban. So I
Mhm.
was like in the middle of these three moves that I had to coordinate and do for everyone. And I couldn't find a house in Durban. I spoke to agents and it just didn't work out. And then one night I lie in bed exhausted and I had this voice and it said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I cannot work with an agent. Give me a private person that I rent from a private person. I can speak to a private person
Mhm.
myself. And and I need a place that's safe for my mom and myself. I don't want to worry about our safety. And it must be on one level because she's got arthritis in her knees, so she's not walking easily. She's not moving around easily, and I want to make it as easy as possible. And that was my only requirements, and I must be able to afford it. And with no income on debt,
Mhm.
in brackets. But anyway, and I left it. And I said, "God, I can't cope with this last one. You need to sort it out."
Right.
And I left it and I forgot about it. And that was the Friday night. And the Saturday afternoon, I got a phone call from my sister and my mom out of the blue. And they said to me, um, "We want to speak to you." And I can hear they're coming up with something is coming my way and they don't know how to break the news. So my mom and my sister said, "We found you a house in the bush." And they know how I feel about nature. And it's so in the bush that it's actually on stilts. There's little buck and there's bush pigs and there's birds and it's in nature. And I said, "Oh my word, take it." And I just had a feeling this is it. I didn't see it. I didn't know anything about it. My sister chirped from the side and she said, "But I just want to tell you, I know you said you never ever want to live in a retirement village or, but this is in a retirement village." And I go, "What?" And she said, "Yes, it's in the village where my mum is staying. They stay in individual homes in a retirement village, and there's also frail care for the ones who can't look after themselves." And she said, "This is in the village, but it's the last row. It's the last home. It's in the bush. It's on stilts, and it's very private. And you can choose whether you want to be part of the village or not because you're close to the gate. You can slip in, you can slip out. Anyway, you've got your own home. It's on its own stand. It's very private. And this is it. This the only thing is it's in the village." And for a second, my heart went, "Ooh." And then I thought, no, wait a minute. Um, we've got security. It's offering us security. It's offering us safety. My mom knows the village, so it's nothing new to her for the moment. And we can just settle. And somehow it will free me up after that to do what I need to do, which I don't know what I need to do, but to do what I need to do. And it just happened. And I just went back and I said, thank you, God. He sorted it out. And he sorted it out in the most amazing way. I've got the most amazing landlord, understanding. We speak the same language. It's beautiful. And he let us move in earlier than what we should. And my furniture had to come down after Christmas, just before New Year. And I was supposed to put it in storage, and he let me know, don't put it in storage at all. You don't need that cost. Bring it over to the house immediately, and just use the house. And it's just little things that fall into place to just make it so much easier. It's just unbelievable. If I need to describe this journey, it's like I actually have goosebumps. It's like God has taken it and He's laid the path, and really I don't need to worry. I can just ask, and it just happens. And I don't, and it's like taken such a burden off me. Even my son is settled, he's happy. I know he's going to come to Durban sometime or the other, when the time is right. And I've made peace with that as well. So it's all falling into place and it's just happening the way it should be. My dog, which is my soulmate, she battled in the beginning and I thought, oops, what happened here? And I must say, since we're in the house and the furniture, she's around her old furniture and she's seeing her Oma all the time and she's with my mom, and we settled in the new place, which we finally moved in last week, Friday. My dog settled immediately and she's as happy as Larry. So it's like all of these worries and concerns has been taken care of. And now I just need to move forward. And like I said, I can't tell you what and where, but I have faith. And I know the doors, what I feel is doors are going to open for me in the most amazing way. And it's just literally the door that I thought would open, that I had a job offer. When I investigated closely, I have a feeling, no, not that. For various reasons that I don't want to air, but not that. But I know that the doors are going to open and it's in the most amazing way. It's just going to doof, 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 and it's falling into place. And that is what is flow. When we in our flow is when we listen and we can hear the voice and we react immediately. We don't question it to death. We don't analyze it to death. We just follow it. We just go and we have the faith that it is in our best interest. And that is the beauty of, and I'm saying to myself, why didn't I listen to my flow earlier on? It's so easy. But anyway, it happened now. So I'm
Yeah,
glad, I'm grateful.
lessons that we must learn, right? It's just lessons and timing. God has it for us all the time. It's just that He's like, okay, you want to go learn this lesson, okay? And He's like, "Man, let they could we could get it faster now if you just listen."
Exactly.
But
You can manifest it, or you can just go around the mountain and come back.
yeah, and it reminds me of you talk about trust. Um, Trust is so important when you talk about this journey. I read, uh, and I read every day, but I read the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Mishael, Hananiah, and Azariah was their original name, but um, the king of Babylon at the time tells them, "Hey, look, I made this statue, and I said everybody is gonna bow to this thing. They tell me you're not bowing. Is that right? And then they're like, "Hey, you know, you're the king, but we're not bowing to no nothing else other than our God." And it says that he became furiated, and he was like plumb mad, right? Crazy. Said, "Oh, you want to do that? Okay, put the furnace 7 times hotter, and I'm gonna throw you in there. You sure you?" They're like, "Look, We don't have to worry because our God is able to save us. And this is the most important thing out of that whole story. They say, but even if he doesn't, we will not bow. And
Yeah.
that every time I hear that, that confidence in
Yeah.
your God, that confidence that, look, we know he can, but even if he doesn't, and that's the approach that we have to have as we go down this journey of life. We know what God is able to do. You just need to obey, even if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't, you need
Yeah.
to obey. And that's where you see miracles happen, because after that, he said, okay, well, you know what? Throw them guys in there. It says that the guards that threw them in died because they were consumed in fire because it
Mhm.
was so hot. But then it said the king leaped to his feet and he's looking, he's like, hey, didn't we throw three guys in there? And the guys were like, yeah, we threw three guys. He go, well, I'm telling you right now, I see four, and one of them looks like the son of God. you know, that's what happens when because you know what? They still got thrown in the fire. It does not mean that you might not get thrown in the fire. It means that if you get thrown in the fire, he's going to be there with you. He's going to guard you. He's going to, and it says, hey, the story goes, he says, hey, you guys in there? He's like, yeah, we're here. He's like, come out. And then it says that when they came out of the furnace, they were surrounded by the people that were there, that they could not even smell smoke on their clothes. Tell me that God's not able, and he's not willing or able to do exactly what he said he would do for you in your life. uh but our attitude is the one that needs to be in line with his word and say, I know my God is able, but even
Yeah.
if he don't, even if he doesn't, I'm
Yeah.
going to stay faithful, and I'm going to do my part in this
Yeah.
relationship. And that's when you see things happen that, look, you and I both right now, after this last year, and we've been communicating throughout the whole year. We know each other's ups and downs for the most part. And we're sitting here today talking about hindsight, right? And no joke intended when it was like hindsight 2020. But
Yeah.
but we're here today as witnesses for
Mm.
everybody listening,
Mm.
that even if the money doesn't come, even if the conferences don't come, we're going to do exactly what he says, because he's going to be faithful.
Yeah.
It's our part that we need to play and continue to be faithful. So folks, I hope that you really were enriched today. Maybe something clicked in your head about humility, trust, faithfulness. Um, but these are values. These are characteristics that need to be in your daily life,
Mm.
because we are telling you, this has been our journey, and this is what's resulted in it. I mean, the doors are opening to
Mm.
things we have no idea how
Yeah.
big they will be. And all it takes is for you to do that. Walk humbly, love, be faithful, and just listen.
Yeah.
God is talking. He's waiting on us, right? He's waiting on you. So Madelaine, thank you so much for sharing this time with me once again. I love having you here to share your story. I'll let you finish out with some closing words.
Thank you, Enrique. It was beautiful to be with you again, and and especially with a lighter heart, looking forward to 2021. I know it started off on quite a challenging foot, but I believe it's going to change. We're in the mushy, meshy stage of becoming a butterfly,
Yep.
and it's now all about having faith. And I believe that we're in a process of who am I, connecting to your I am, because this is what makes the difference now in life. Not the title, not the degree, not
Yep.
the status, not the money, but the I am. Connecting to your I am is what you need to do now to take you through these challenging times and to be in your flow. So thank you very much for sharing this time with me.
Wonderful. Well, folks, thank you for sharing the last half hour and change with us. And we'll see you next week on When God Speaks. Be blessed and may prosperity be on your side.